Dude, my nail polish is called...
Nail polish.
Yeah, I knew where you're going. All right, cheers.
My nail polish is called Old Chihuahua,
Cheers.
so it's weird.
Like,
So,
that's my
Jordan,
cue.
I wanted to do this
Cheers.
on camera, but I really do appreciate you helping me. Thank you so fucking much. Lindsay,
Yeah.
you're the first person that I've had twice on the podcast.
Why does that sound dirty?
What the fuck? Okay, restart. Jesus Christ.
I've got an innocent baby in my lap. I just.
God damn it, I knew I hated you.
So what you had to have twice.
Dude, I wonder how long I was gonna last to the podcast. This is dope.
Yeah.
This is also the first time I had a baby on the podcast.
Yeah, that's the real question right there.
When do I have to stop saying fuck around her? Never?
I expect that to be your first
6
word,
months.
so it doesn't matter.
Listen,
Okay.
The
here's
only
the
thing
thing.
is, they can say the words at home, they just have to use them.
Here's
Yeah.
what I don't understand. People have like a hard time about people like swearing in front of kids, and I'm just like, why don't? It's the same. Like you don't have a hard time with the fact that if I have a beer in my hand around kids, like you bring
Yeah.
kids to restaurants still, those are adult words. They're meant to be consumed and utilized when you're an adult. In the
Yeah.
same way that adult beverages are, in the same way that adult fashion is.
Can I bring prostitutes around?
They're probably the most loving.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to find the line.
But no, I mean, it's adult words, or it's adult.
No.
things,
No, I actually
whatever.
appreciate that about like certain parents that I met that they'll say
Yeah.
all these words. And I'm like, damn, dude, like I didn't know that like that was like a cool
Gonna
thing.
change the location.
But they're like, yeah, I've taught my kids that that's not for them. It's
Yeah.
like it's I get to do this. I
Well,
drink
keep
beer
it a
and
foot.
I get to say these words, and you do
Yeah.
not once you're 16 or
when
whatever.
you make an income that can support a household,
Yeah.
then you get to use these privileges.
Dude, I listen to this girl. Her name's Miss Pat, and she cusses up a storm, but she will not allow her kids to say cuss words in front of her.
That's
And
right.
her kids are 30. It's nuts.
Dude, I still
She's like,
struggle not to swear
don't
in front of mom.
disrespect me.
I was gonna say, my parents have always said it's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Say it in front of your-
So it's a
swear in front of our
it's a
parents,
southern
so-
thing.
But they're like, don't
Yeah, it's
swear
like a
in front of
southern
your
respect thing.
elders.
Yeah.
I think that's if you.
But
view
she will swear in
swearing
front of
as
her kids. She's like,
disrespectful.
don't you fucking dare say that. And I'm like,
There's still
whoa.
kids in her eyes,
Yeah.
no matter how.
Yeah, it's so wild.
I
That's
think that's the whole idea of like if you're still viewing it as disrespectful. I think there's a very big difference between saying like, oh fuck this, fuck that, and then fuck you.
yeah, for sure.
That is a disrespect level. That's changed.
Dude, you know what's like when I first started, well, I didn't swear until I was
Australia?
like 23. Maybe I swore a little before 23 actually. But what's wild is for Christians, like for how we grew up,
Yeah.
we
Swearing was not as bad as saying, oh my god.
yeah, but both. Dude,
Yeah,
I remember
right.
when somebody said shit, or I remember
No, for
dad
sure.
said shit one
Yeah,
time, and I was like, oh, I can't believe he did that. Because we're Christian. Like, what would
Yeah.
Jesus think? But then you realize, I'm like, dude, nowhere in the Bible does it say, do
Well,
not
that's what I
say
mean.
shit.
That's why I
not say
believed growing
fuck.
up. I believed that it was worse to say "oh my god" or
Yeah.
"god damn" because I thought that was taking God's name in vain, and that's what the Bible does talk about.
Yeah. Do you know
So-
what? Have you ever heard of the argument that actually taking God's name in vain wasn't talking about using the word Jesus Christ or God damn? It's actually using his name in a vain way. Like, so using it for a not...
Perpetuate like a
To
human cause.
Yeah, like perpetuating your own agenda
Right.
in the
So
name
the
of
Crusades.
God. Right. That is using God's name. in
I mean, that
vain.
makes
And I
sense.
was like, what?
But the Bible was before the Crusades. But yeah, that does make
No,
sense.
that's what I mean.
think that
Like,
is
that
way
was
worse.
what it was. That was
Oh,
actually
did I
the
take away your
intent.
toes?
That's like one
I got you.
interpretation
I got you.
of like
Oh,
whatever
you.
the fuck that using
Yeah,
God's name in vain.
that makes
So,
sense
like,
to me.
That wasn't like, it's not like the Israelites were saying, oh my God. No, it was like, no, do not use my name for your purposes.
Yeah, for your
'Cause,
gain
like,
and
yeah,
glory.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, that
I was
makes
like,
sense.
Oh, fuck. That's a new one.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense a lot for sure.
Dude, recently I diving into a lot of like Buddhist books and shit, and I mean I think we've talked about this with like the power of now and stuff, but like hearing other spiritual teachers being like, Jesus says this, and I'm like,
Why do we fucking care?
No, it's a complete different perspective shift. So like there's this new book that I read called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, who he wrote this other book called Untethered Soul.
Yeah,
I recommend.
I know that.
Shout out to Michael Singer. He's fucking dope. But he would talk about how, like, when you meditate, you like reach this higher consciousness of like going inward, like going into like not just your body, not just your mind, into your soul, like going inward. And then he's like, even Jesus, my spiritual teacher told me that even Jesus said, look inside, like, and you're like all of these interpretations that are way different than the Protestant one. You're like, oh, wait a second. We were just taught what Jesus said through a certain lens.
Right.
And one of the big ones I always remember is like the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Yeah.
And we were taught, that means that
like God is coming really quickly.
Right.
He's going to be here any day.
And then Eckhart Tolle will be like, no, that's the present moment. He's like, even Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's right now. So if you can find in now, you are in heaven. Yeah. And I'm like, what? We were never told this shit. Yeah. What the fuck?
Because it didn't serve the agenda. Because you can't control the masses if you tell them this is the life to live right now. You can control them if you tell them they're going to burn for eternity and you're living for a future life to hopefully maybe make it into heaven where you'll have all the riches. It's a really good way to control poor people. Yeah. Which is what most of us were, right? Like that.
What do you mean were?
Blue collar. Yeah, still are. Blue collar though. Like that's like blue collar control.
Yeah.
100%.
Dude, still am. That's why I'm drinking Brut instead of that.
Like your own moon star.
Ooh, yes, please.
You get, like,
I'll sign up for that.
And how many virgins?
I don't think they have enough virgins. I think they need to.
You can buy that.
I think they need more virgins on there.
More unattainable. 7 virgins is
I don't remember the number.
Unattainable if you put a legal limit.
There's a couple of religions that offer this, and I don't think it's enough.
I actually.
Yeah, as I'm saying, I don't think a star seems that unachievable. I can literally buy one right now for it's like $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah.
I mean, let's compare.
I want to be a star boy.
Yeah.
Dude, I know that a lot of religions promise a couple virgins when they get to heaven, but as someone who's never fucked a virgin, it doesn't sound hot to me. I want like 40 sluts. I'm like. That's the kind of religion I want to join. Like, when you get to heaven, you get 40 sluts. These bitches are practiced as shit.
Why can't it be a mix of like you get like 2 virgins and then like 10 sluts?
Okay.
Or like
a virgin to be a slut though.
I guess.
Dude, I think some of the sluttiest people I ever knew were virgins.
I guess once I go to heaven, I'm basically God. So of course I can.
Virgins forever, and look at us now.
Oh. Yeah, you're right.
What did you do?
I guess once I get to heaven and I have all eternity, I can.
Sorry, we got spit up all over.
That makes sense.
I didn't.
Oh no!
On the podcast, I love
See, come on. This is why you don't put your toes in your mouth. You drank too much.
Milk drunk over here.
I just want everyone to know we gave her 1 shot of 99 bananas and she does not hold her booze.
She's a lightweight.
Fucking lightweight.
Sorry. Okay,
dude.
There you go. There you go.
You know that scene of like Shameless where Frank's so good with babies and he just like puts a little alcohol in their mouth?
Well, they spilled whiskey on their gums for tea.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah,
but like he would just get them a little tipsy and then they're fine.
Is that it?
It obviously is really a healthy way to manage the client.
Yeah, is that what you have to say about that?
The couch that we had, that Em and I had.
I know, how dare you.
That's such a good couch.
I wanted to sleep
the
on
people
it.
who picked it up, the dad, he was like an older man, and loves babies. They had a baby the same age.
You're okay. You're okay. Hey.
And
Isla, no one's gonna listen to this if you keep doing that.
the husband of the couple that was picking it up was like, "Oh, do you have any alcohol in the house?" I was like, "Yeah, why? You need a shot?" And he's like, "No, he's just been known to give alcohol to babies."
Ooh, nice. I'm all.
Good to know.
I like a tittin, don't worry.
Dude, I wish I had alcohol when I was a baby.
I don't think that's true. I think that you appreciate all of the brain cells and cognitive development.
No, I don't. I don't like them. It's too aggressive.
Oh,
it's too aggressive.
what are you buzzing about? Huh. Yeah, we're good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good now. Good toes.
Dude, when this podcast gets famous and
Isla's gonna be the first baby celebrity on your podcast.
yeah, and I'm not really a big proponent of like using like
Children.
making your kids to get
Make money for you.
yeah, but I guess I am now.
That's weird because you were only raised with like kid labor stuff.
Dude, you know that Cinda was what do you call that? When you
Adopted?
do yes, that's not what I was thinking. You know, when you take pageant. She's a
Yeah, I found out
She was
as a cat.
Really?
mm-hmm.
As a cat,
I don't think she's
not
a
even
cat.
as a human. She said kitty modeling the other day.
No,
That's
kiddie modeling.
oh.
What?
I thought it was kitty. I even made the comment. I was like, "Well, you do like that's a cat." I was like,
my God.
"Did you get judged on your meows?"
No, kiddie.
Your parents sold you to other humans based on.
I thought it was like weird, like child fetishing of like.
No, kiddie.
Oh, you just say child modeling or
Dude,
or
where's Cinda when
kid
you
modeling. Like what?
That's so
What
funny.
would we call that? Kitty modeling. Of course, I'm gonna think of cat.
I like talking
Her last
about.
name is an animal.
I like
name.
talking about people behind their back. When
When you know they're gonna
on
watch
the
it?
podcast when they know I'm like I can't wait till they see this.
No, we literally had this whole conversation yesterday. It was like you, me, and was it
Yes.
Carrie in the car? Who
yeah,
was
no,
it?
I remember her saying
And
kitty.
I was like, wait, can we just backtrack about like you were a kitty model? Is what I said because I thought that's what she said.
But then she was just
And
like,
then
yeah,
I was
kitty
asking,
model.
and I was asking, it's like, so they like judged you on your meows or?
I think we missed.
She
that.
must have
'Cause
missed that, yeah,
no,
yeah.
I missed that too because I don't remember. I do remember you asking a second time, but I don't remember it being.
Yeah,
like,
generally thought she was getting like modeled as
specific.
like a cat.
No, so something
Like a
happened.
human cat, like some sort of
and
weird
once-
Asian fetish.
Once there
is what I
was
thought
like
it
a
was.
little bit of an interest, they're like, "Holy fuck, we can make like
What?
actually we should put some money into this because she's
Oh.
really good at this." And so then I don't know how old she was, under 5 or something,
right.
and then yeah, just
You
it
did.
figured itself out, and then she was able to do that
Yeah.
stuff. Shit, I hope she's okay with me talking about this. I guess we'll get it now.
Oh, figure it out.
I don't know, just like her mind. I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
You was a baby.
Yeah, dude. One of the things. Speaking of like when I talk about certain things, the one that I did with Katie, when I was talking about this threesome I had, and I was not naming people because I was like, normally I don't like try to name people, you know, like try to throw anyone under the bus, blah blah blah. And then so I didn't name the one girl, but then I was like, and then Cinda did this, and she's like, what the fuck, man? You're just blasting my name out everywhere. I'm like, dude, there's only 40 people that listen to it.
This
It's
is what
fine.
I'm saying now. We're just gonna make a patented sleeve for your mouth
Yeah.
tape and like a cute little like
Yeah.
emoji and a little sound
Yep.
and be like.
And that'll be something that, like, yeah, if we fuck up, we're like, whoop. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Mhm.
what were you gonna say? Alright. Well, everyone's having a moment. I forgot my babe.
Mm.
Well, I'm gonna keep having moments.
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely.
Okay,
Nice.
Isla,
So okay,
calm
now that
down.
we've established that it wasn't a kitty modeling,
Now I wish it was.
that's what I was like. Wow, just started the fetishizing real hard right there.
Dude, I mean, if I was gonna be a model, I want to be a kitten.
An animal model, for sure.
Dude, there's these guys.
What about the clowns and other things? Like we have
I'm not into clowns.
direct experience.
Clowns?
With all sorts of fun fetishes.
There's a. Dude, as fucking sexual as I am, I'm just like, my fetishes are so fucking basic. Just like, it's only clowns. It's only feet.
No.
I used to
Are you tie tie?
who would throw a fit if we just said
No, that booby will not get you any milk.
it was fun.
Anyway. Mama.
I thought you meant cumulative.
Yeah.
Right?
Mama will have what you need.
That's my least favorite kind of clown.
How dare you?
I
Sorry,
Oh.
continue.
missed something.
Okay, so I have to tell you this story. This is a good one for this. I had one of the best days the other day. So I was super stressed, super. I told you, but like really fucking stressed, and it's just like spiraling. You know, it's like you feel yourself, and you're like, I'm trying all these things, I'm trying a little meditation, whatever. And it's just like I'm like fucking stressed, money, success. You know, I'm just like, oh fuck, I'm not figuring it out. I'm not, and I'm just like, oh shit, like I'm at my wit's end. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like a failure. Anyway, so I had this one of the best days after. So I had the mushroom day, and then I met up with Heather, and then I met up with Jordan, and we had met up a couple days before.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, we had this talk about starting a podcast again, and her helping me. I was like, dude, this is great. And then I met Heather, and she's like so good with marketing and all this stuff, and has all like, and feeling the energy of people. I'm like, oh, this is what I've been missing, like that. And so then it felt better. And then I did mushrooms with a couple dudes that I fucking love, and it was just like better. So it was like this day. It was such a good day. And then I get back home, and I'm like, I'm on a bike over to Overland. Like, what's Jeremy doing? I hit him up. But I go over, and there's this sweetie old lady, and her name's Becky, and I hope at some point she hears this podcast because you're a fucking doll. Like, oh, she's such a sweetheart. So I walk on the patio, and I met her one other time, but she like, as soon as I walk out to the patio, she's like, smile. She's like, she's 69 is what she said.
Overland Bar?
Overland Bar, yeah. Sorry, I thought you said how old she is. Overland Bar, down the street.
Yeah.
So I rode my bike over there. And so she comes up to me, and she's just like, what's your name? And she smiles, like just this huge energy. And I was like, you are just, I'm like, I'm Joshua. Like, hell yeah. Like, what's your name? And then it's just like, I'm like, your energy is just so beautiful. And she's like, well, Jesus loves me. And I was just like, oh, she's like, so she's super religious. But I'm like, I can't, like, it's like, I have got to a point where I'm like, dude, I will just let it come. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I love Jesus too. Like I don't believe in it, but like by all means, like I have to. Like, I'm so happy that he's giving you like this love. You know, she's like, and he loves you too. I'm like, I know, you know, he does. Like blah blah blah. But like, so we were having like a good, really conversation, and she's obviously at a bar. She's drinking, so she's not like like the kind of Christian that some like we grew up with.
Yeah.
But just like lovey, smile. It was so nice, and so. There was this moment, so we had already spent like 20 minutes together just hanging out. Like, and she's like, dude, I'm so happy. I was so high on the day. I was so high on life. She was
cold soaked that day?
I think so, because I was pretty adamant about I've been doing it pretty religiously recently. And then, so anyway, she asked me something. There was something that I brought up that was like a little stressful or tough. And she goes, however do you cope with like such a this and this? And I was just like, well, this thing for sure. And I was like, and then I drowned myself in a lot of pussy. And I like just had such a good relationship. I was like, this is gonna be great.
Or it's not.
Oh, it switched. And like I didn't think that through. I mean, I was pretty
obviously.
She goes, don't you dare say that word in front of me. And I was like, ooh. And she's just like, bringing your kinky pervy stuff. Don't do that. And like, there was these dudes like over the corner, like, like they're watching it all. I was like, oh no. And she's like, how dare you? Like, and she's like, and after about like 30 seconds of scolding, I was like, ooh. She's like, do not let that happen again. I was like, I will not, Becky. I will not let that happen again. And these guys are just dying laughing, like seeing him over the corner. It's just like, and then we were able to move forward past that conversation, and then she was sweet again. I was just like, oh, dude, it was wild. Just like, how dare you use that word? I was like, ooh, whoops. Yeah, it was super funny, but she is a sweetheart. And then like later when like I said bye, she was just like, oh my god, bye, bye, bye. Like I'm like, she forgot, thank God.
She already
let me give you a shot.
She already blocked it out.
Yeah.
I think to like recap on cursing though, it's interesting that people have
hard lines.
Interesting like hard line adverse reactions. Like
people have very emotional reactions to cursing.
Everybody fucking uses
That's when I started cursing.
Yeah.
Like,
I started cursing when you came back from Australia, and you told me that pussy was not a bad term, but fanny was. And that fuck wasn't a bad term.
So
and I
weird.
watched you like swear in front of mom for the first couple times.
I never said fuck for.
No, you never said that, but you said damn, and then you were like shit.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Oh,
I can't help it, Mom.
Yeah.
It's not a swear word where I just lived for a year. And that was when I was like, wait a minute. Like my logic kicked in, and I was like, wait a minute. I don't think that God would say that one thing is like an actual sin if it's not a sin in all countries.
Right.
I don't believe that. And I was like, and it's not like a legal sin. Like I get it if it's because he says to follow the rules of your man or whatever in the country or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it's not like a law that you cannot swear.
Right.
So it's not that I'm just like breaking the law.
It's so strange.
And that was when I first started being like, wait a minute.
It's so strange that
wait a minute. This is bullshit.
Even with like TV, you still can't say fuck on TV. It's just like, dude, like nowhere in the Bible does it say fuck is a bad word. You know, it's not
even a word
not
back
like
then.
a 7 deadly sins shit, right?
Have you ever looked like where's fuck come from?
I've actually have. You can do some YouTube videos on it. And like some of the oldest one is like it's basically it is sex, but it's like to hit, like it's like to sex aggressively to like.
Yeah. To thrust.
Yeah.
It's bad sex. Bad white man sex, probably. Just jackhammer.
but do you guys remember?
You guys don't. Jackhammering is bad? Oh yeah.
Do you guys remember when you first started to be allowed to say shit on public broadcast television on cable?
No, I was never allowed to watch that.
South Park
in
like 1998-ish.
Definitely wasn't allowed to watch that.
Right around then, and they had a shit counter.
Yeah, I remember that episode. Yeah.
Oh, you're only allowed to say it so many times.
Yeah, so they max it, and they just had the counter of every time they said shit. It was, I do remember that.
Hey, I didn't know that South Park was around that long.
So speaking of like swearing, so when I went to Australia, I met people, like there was all these people from all over the globe, and we're all still religious, like still pretty culty, like Pentecostal.
Dude, they're an entire other
different cult. Yeah, for
didn't
sure.
they just go through some shit? Like they got like busted for some weird shit. But yeah, like they're
always
pretty much.
do.
Yeah,
I mean, not they. I mean, like
they're
every
too big of an organization for them not to
You
be.
always
Hillsong,
get the fucking.
Hillsong is gonna have someone that's raping someone. Like that's guaranteed. It's too big of an organization and too religious.
So the main
organization.
pastor, his name is I forget, but his dad was a pedophile or something, or like something like that.
Shocker.
So that was even when I was there before.
Really working his illness for him.
And it sucks. And he was just like, yeah, like I'm not my father, you know, like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So there's that. But then they started the New York church, and then Carl Lentz, who was there, he like had an affair, you know, like dude, there's always something. And
something sucks.
it is that danger of power. Like dude, you have thousands of girls being like, oh my God, if only I could, you know, there's always
speak through me.
Yeah, exactly. So like that is a temptation that grows and grows and grows with the power of, you know, leading whatever sort of church. But regardless, there was all these people from all over the world that came, and my Norwegian friend that was just like praying, and she's like, dear Lord Jesus, like calm down, like bless us. Like we are fucking here for, and I remember hearing the F word in a prayer, and I was like, what? and then I like asked them, and they're like, yeah, the F word is that's not an issue. Why would that be an issue? And I was like, well, it's obviously sinful. And like they're like, why? Well,
in what context? Is that in the 10?
No. Yeah, and she's just like, dear Lord Jesus, like
real religious.
We fucking praise you. You know, I'm like, oh my God, that's nuts.
Dirty little slut.
Yeah, but they're like, yeah, this is not a problem. And then you get introduced to like, yeah, English and Australians are like, yeah, you fucking cunt.
Yeah,
and,
that's the one that got me. I dated an Australian dude, and I remember him being like, I got the hurt from my fucking mom's cunt, and I was like, oh, I don't know which part of that to be upset about. Like, and he was like literally just talking about the fact that he'd get cold sores. And he was like, I got it from my mom's cunt when I was born, and I was just like, What?
You can't say that.
He's
But
like,
Hey, you're talking about your mom's vagina in a very terrible way to do it. Like, and then you're talking about a cold sore.
yeah, it's nothing.
And it was
Yeah.
nothing.
The worst words that you
Yeah.
could ever say.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
We'll say
But
that
there
someone
it's
is
just
a
like
jerk.
normal.
No.
Like jerk.
Yeah.
And cunt.
Mhm.
Are the equivalent.
Yeah, this fucking cunt.
It
And
was
it's just super,
wild
like,
to
yeah,
me.
it's just like this.
And I
this
was
girl's
like,
being a
man,
jerk.
I mean, I'm pretty fucking bad with my language. I'm East Coaster, man. I fucking swear like a sailor. I
No.
was still like,
No, once I learned that, then I'm like, dude, I appreciate that, and that's why I obviously lean into the offensive. You know, I mean, I've like been doing that for years, but I'm just like,
me
dude,
too, a little bit.
then
In certain scenarios, yeah.
tell me why that the whatever you're doing is not offensive and what I'm doing is. Like,
Yeah.
just tell me why. You know,
Explain.
And
Well,
then
especially with the word like fuck, it literally can be used as every single part of speech. It is the most versatile curse word.
Mhm.
It can be a noun, it can be an adjective, it can be a verb, like
Yeah.
and everywhere in between.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And so why are we so hung up on this one little?
Well, and what's crazy now is what I like about the conversation is obviously we were talking about doing it in front of babies, but what I like about the society now is, and everyone that I know, even the Christians, even the family people, they still say fuck. And it's just the hang up on like television or whatever, you know, but like it's about going out.
A lot
like
of Christians I know don't.
almost,
At least, well, most of the Christians that I still know are like our
the
family.
culty Christians do.
Yeah,
but
they still like our
but not
culty Christian
more
families.
loosey goosey Christians. You know,
Yeah, I
like,
guess I don't know a lot of
I would
those.
say in front of any of my students.
Right.
I
yeah.
got in trouble for
You
the
hear that?
first time ever at work.
See if it goes. Did you hear it?
I did hear
Let's
something.
see if it
What was
goes
that?
back on. Because that was the turn off.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if it like clicks back on. Ooh, yeah.
Where's my little, oh, there it is.
Dude, one of my this is very side note, but one of my biggest pet peeves of any sort of podcast or news show is when you know that they've been hanging out for a solid half hour.
Yeah, they talk
And
about
then
shit that they're like,
start
oh, we
and
already talked about.
they go, hey Lindsay, how are you doing today? I'm like, dude, what the fuck? That's so stupid. I'm like,
Yeah.
I already know that you've been kicking it. You don't need
Yeah.
to say, hey Lindsay, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
I already asked you how you were doing when you came in an hour
Yeah.
ago. Like we all know this. Like it seems so silly.
Mm.
And not all podcasts do it, but
Yeah.
there's a few that like will
Yeah.
do it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you obviously have been kicking it. You know.
Yeah,
So
for
why?
sure.
It's so silly.
Was Lindsay hiding out in the green room before we started
Yeah.
recording?
Oh,
It's not.
actually.
Yeah. Like,
The green room's
if
the
you're-
garage.
dude, if you're fucking Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, maybe,
Then you're saying, hey, yeah, because that is the first time you met him. But, like, that's Jimmy Fallon. You're a podcast. Like, I know that you were kicking it with him.
Yeah.
You know? So silly. I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, that's fair. Maybe they're just
Don't
trying
ever
to.
let me do this.
I'm just going to offer a different perspective to it. That maybe they are trying to, like, not role play, but, like, emulate how conversations could go. Or, like, open up how, like,
Yeah.
open communication is.
It just feels
Like,
forced.
it's the same, to me, it's the same thing as, like, I prefer, I don't really, like, watch porn, but, like, when I do, I
You
really.
watch Heels.
Oh, heels
yeah.
is.
Mas-
I don't know. Heels is.
Heels.
I don't know what that is.
Heels.
Heels.
They elevate the heel of a foot.
Oh,
They elevate
know.
it. They put it higher.
shoes,
Yeah.
stilettos.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
what
do.
happens
I
with
do.
the heel
I really
is
prefer.
it puts the back of the foot
What I really
above
like.
the
What I
front of
really
the
like
foot.
about that kind of porn is when the stiletto gets consent.
Yeah. Or I was like, is this a new Netflix show that I didn't know about?
Dude, Homeboy loves consent. By
That's
the
what
way,
I'm saying. I don't know who Homeboy is, but
Last Night Boy. He loves consent.
Dan.
No.
No,
Oh.
That was on my
Shit,
phone.
did I just out myself?
I know. I'm saying. Yeah, I'm using.
No, I
We're
just
trying.
added my
We're trying.
crush.
It wasn't Dan.
I just added my crush.
Dan, Lindsay's a crush on you.
Stop.
We're leaving that one in. Dude, most of my friends don't even watch this. No, the person that was at our house, he likes consent.
Max?
Stop naming people.
What do you got me?
Dude, wait.
I don't.
At the end of the night. Ben on the podcast. Dude, one time me and him were hanging out, and we go, he's just like, I really get off on consent. And I was like, that's crazy, because I really get off on having them not consent.
No, I think
That's sex for the new fucking age, though.
back to porn.
Like-
I actually think that that's very about. I think that like it should be included, like because in actuality, when porn is shot, there is consent
of course.
acquired.
Yeah.
And I think that's the lacking part. I think that's why we have the problem that we do in this day and age. Is we're taught like, oh, girls just like it when you take it from them. No. There was a signed agreement of consent, and like all of that was discussed prior.
Yeah.
That's not just like an actual like, oh, they actually were in a school, and all of a sudden this just actually happened.
Yeah.
Whatever the scenario is, like, I
Dude.
think that's the part that misses, and that's the part that I need it, or else I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big
noticed this has been integrated into shows now.
consent.
Where someone will be like about to kiss another person, or they'll like put their hands up on their shoulders and they're very close, and they're like, "Is this okay?"
Yeah.
I've
No,
noticed
it's
that
smart.
I've noticed that this
Yeah.
stuff is starting to become
Integrate.
a more normalized part of society, and I get
Interesting.
Where, like, you're
I
like,
guess
"Oh,
that
I'm
it's
just gonna take
needed.
it and it's gonna be great," but like,
Yeah.
and that's
There is a
cool,
The
but
unfortunate thing is the idea that like we don't have the human intelligence to like actually recognize what is consent, because a lot of like I had a situation where that I was talking to my neighbors and I told them about a sexual situation, and they got very upset actually, and they were
you
like,
told me about that.
yeah, and like I was like telling them about like a very odd situation where like someone did something that was like very new to me, and I had an
What'd they
experience.
do?
Do you really want me to say?
It's up to you.
Oh, they put like most of their hand down my throat,
fisting your throat?
yeah, like through like past their
Yeah,
wrist,
never
like
mind.
one
I don't want you to say. That sounds
But
disgusting.
it was very unusual to me, and it was like a kink that I'd never I just was not. I mean, I get the like sucking a finger or something like that. It was well beyond that, and I was like telling them about it, and they were just like. They were getting really, actually, they got like, it got to the point where they were like, we have to not talk about this anymore. They got so upset.
Yeah.
And they were trying to ask like, well, like, did the guy ask if that was okay? And I was like, well, like, I don't think you understand that consent doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily verbal.
Yeah, it's not
always verbal.
Yeah.
And
But
they were
then
like,
at least-
but the problem is that leaves a lot of gray area.
Yeah.
And then there are
especially for
people
the person.
that don't
Yeah.
understand it,
Yeah.
and then they think they've gotten consent, and really they haven't. What they've gotten
It
is
is
fawning.
enough. Oh,
Temp? It's too hot?
it's too hot. It's overheating.
How's it
Okay.
hot? It's not
Okay,
even
let's
here.
pause this conversation. Okay. Re-unpause. Keep going with
So,
whatever this is.
so we were
No,
talking-
you can even talk
Consent.
whatever.
Yeah.
Just-
So no, we were talking about like I was like explaining that like the person that I was like trying to explain to them that consent is not necessarily always verbal. Like, is it okay if I do this? And I was like, it's the same. I was like trying to explain the idea of choking, of like how you get consent with
What is
choking.
that?
But how you get consent with that is not necessarily verbal. Like, can I choke you? Like, nobody. If you ask me that, then no, absolutely you cannot.
Then it's
But,
not
like,
hot.
Yeah.
This is a very sensitive
It's a very
subject with
subtext
it's
sort
very
of thing.
subjective.
And it's very also sensitive because yes, maybe I'm not saying anything and I'm good with it, but that might be because I'm just fawning or I'm freezing, and that's not okay necessarily either. However, I think the cue is like if like the person seems more into it, I think that's the cue. And I was trying to explain that.
That it's like, oh, I'm sorry, if I move your hands there,
Oh yeah.
then that's what I am
For
asking
sure.
for, but I'm not saying it explicitly.
Okay, let me
Right.
ask you this, because this is what I would do, and this is
Mhm.
so there's a couple things I want to say about this,
Mhm.
but what I would do is like when I'm with the new person,
Yeah.
Maybe it's our first time, maybe it's our third time hooking
Yeah.
up.
You want to bring
I
in
put
somebody
my
else.
hand on their throat
Right.
and don't put any pressure.
Right. That's what I
and
mean.
then
That is what I mean about.
if a girl goes like this and pulls it in, you know she
Or
wants
like-
more.
Or
if
extra
she's like,
moans, or yeah.
yeah,
There's a
so,
difference
like,
between if they
you
get
have
real
to read
quiet
the
and
room.
stiff versus if they get like
So
more.
the problem is,
into it.
and I think that you may
Still
agree,
a level of subjective.
there is subjective
human reading.
And so what you were talking about earlier is
Mhm.
one person thinks, oh, this girl, I tickle her, and she giggles and says, no, don't. And he thinks that means she likes it. She's being silly.
She's
and
being
she's
flirtatious.
saying,
No, actually don't.
I'm uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
a lot of people can't tell that difference.
Yeah.
And
I think that's also the difference of like, I think
that
that's also
can't do
the
it.
difference of like the people that like really think that they're making a girl orgasm and they can't
Mhm.
tell someone that's faking or not.
Say it again. Oh, the door.
Why does this keep opening? What ghost is coming out?
It's the ghost. No, there's no ghost.
Dude.
That's why I built a new house. I don't want any ghosts. But
But
once I killed that bitch, there's been ghosts ever since. Dude, fuck, man. I fucked up with that one.
Kari.
Dude, the last podcast that we did, we were so fucked up, and you started talking about this random person. When I watched Bachelor, I was like, I have no idea what we're talking about.
We talked about that being our editor or our lawyer.
No, it wasn't.
That's what it was.
Did you watch the end?
No, I did. No, but that's
you
what
were just like, this person's in the room, and it wasn't the beginning. No, it was the very end, and then I was like, oh, we're really fucked up.
I was ready to fuck it up.
So fucked up.
Fucking with
But
you.
I'm like, what the fuck
Thinking
is
that I
Lindsay
was fucking with you?
talking about?
I was probably just trying to fuck with you, and I was just too drunk to do it well.
And then I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, but I didn't notice it when I was drunk, but I noticed it when I'm sober editing. I'm like, what in the fuck? Nice.
But no, yeah, consent, like that idea, like that is a challenging one of like people and it's hard because you're going against like a fucking, like it's not just a you and me having this experience. You're going against a fucking generational worth of the idea of how girls tend to like giggle and like say no, and like actually we mean no.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to say fuck.
Right.
Like
We
one
don't
of
know how
my
to
my
say,
my most recent favorite sentence is, or quote is, that no is a complete sentence. And it's to women only, like no, and I think I got that from the Olsens. Actually, it was like Elizabeth Olsen. It was an interview, and she's like, one of the things that my dad always said was no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
You don't have to justify why you're saying no. You don't have to, like, no is all that it needs.
Yeah.
That answers everything. And
it is a complete sentence.
And unfortunately,
technically and realistically,
yes,
it is a complete.
But unfortunately, that's not the world that we were raised in, and so like that's where there are the misconceptions. And I genuinely feel bad for people like you have like the Aziz Ansari situations where like you hear about his shit. He got like fucking like dogged for like his drama and stuff.
I missed that.
No,
but there's what up, dude?
He had an instance. His instance was that
podcasting motherfucker. You can say hi. You don't have to whisper.
What's up?
Yeah, it's not that.
Hi, I'm Lindsay.
It's not that fucking.
I'm Josh's little sister. Nice to meet you, John.
This isn't going on PBS or anything. We're pretty chill over here.
Yeah.
Oh no! No cursing.
Yeah.
There is no cursing.
This is a clean podcast here. We talk only about Jesus.
What I was gonna say is sometimes there's also like fear of providing consent because you don't want to, and then still sometimes people take that as a yes.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying.
Yeah. No, so Aziz Ansari got himself into an issue, and it was like he like went on a date. He brought the date back to his house, and then he like really wanted like a blowjob or something, and he kind of coerced the person to do it.
Yeah.
And his perspective was that he just like they were having a good time, and the girl gave him a blowjob. she later came out and was like, no, I got fucking pressured into it. I felt like I couldn't say no. I fawned, so I went with it and I like did it. And like
Yeah.
she came
He's
out as
also famous
like
already.
yeah. And like it came out as this thing. And he was just I genuinely think that there are people that like I don't think that he has the general tells because
Yeah.
I generally think that there are a lot of people that do not understand what consent looks like and can't tell the difference between
Yeah.
consent and fawning. And let me tell you, as someone that I am a fawner, I think there's a lot of people that I probably fawned with that they genuinely thought that I was like really into them or that I really liked what was going on. And in genuinity, like my brain was saying, if I pretend like I like this, it's not rape, and then it's not a whole thing, and then it's like it's me having control and all of that. And this keeps me safe. This means that if I pretend like I like this, that I'm physically safe, and they're not gonna fucking hurt me or kill me or like cut me up and wear my skin suit. Whatever the thing is that we have in our brain, like the uncontrollable thing. But that's where fawning comes from. And unfortunately, we're very good actors. Like a lot of us.
You make your hair go a little off that line.
Yeah. We're very good actresses at that. And like as women, I don't think it's just women. I think that guys have to do this too. I just think that this happens a lot more as a woman. And that we have to do that. And I don't know what the answer is to teach someone. This is a challenge where I'm like, I don't know how to tell someone like who we were talking about with that idea that they didn't know like what was like a giggle and an uncomfortable giggle versus like what is actual consent other than saying like, I'll put it this way. I'll put it in terms this way. I was about to hook up with a girl that I was unsure of whether that was what they wanted or not. There was complex situations involved, and so I'm very, very, very careful when it comes to girls. Like I'm less careful than guys. The guys, I'll just grab their dick and say, yeah, let's go. Like I'm very aggressive when it comes to guys.
A little rapey.
Yeah, a little rapey probably. Honestly, if I was a guy, I couldn't do it. But with girls, I'm very delicate.
Yeah.
With girls, I'm very careful about getting consent. So even like whether it's like, okay, they're making out, we're making out, and that's fine, and it's good. And then it gets to like foreplay stuff. And even if it comes to like me having my hand inside their pants, I am very lightly just barely inside their waistband. And then I'm measuring like whether they seem like they're progressing further with me or not. And then it takes me, it's like a fucking 15-20 minute thing before I even get inside panties because I am so concerned with,
That's really ridiculous. It takes me an hour and a half. Lindsay.
Yeah, I'm moving real quick.
Slow it the fuck down.
Yeah, I'm moving real quick.
Come on, dude.
I'm a little aggressive right now.
You're the one pretty consent, and you gotta slow it the fuck down, bruh. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's fun.
But I'm like I get genuinely concerned of like I'm like very and then if I don't even in like that situation, I wasn't sure if they really wanted to. If they did, they gave me all the go signs that any guy would have said like, yeah, and gone for.
Yeah.
But as a girl, and it was someone that I knew and that I cared about, I would never do that.
One of the things you taught me at an early age, which is probably helpful, I don't think there's like a fix-all situation for this.
Yeah.
I think this conversation is helpful. That's what is helpful for like not just
guys,
us,
just understanding.
but like
anybody.
Yeah, like listening to other girls. Like so, for example, like if you're a dude, have some girlfriends. Talk to them about
listen to their experiences.
Exactly.
And the way that they're like, this guy didn't fucking read.
Yeah. So is that still working pretty well? Where is that going? Okay, nice. The X Factor. So that's one of it. Like like your conversation with our friend. Like he didn't know until you told him. Like so, I'm like, dude. So as a dude, have girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like not girlfriends.
Girls
friends that are friends. And then ask their perspective.
Talk to them about
that's going to help you navigate the waters, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things that you told me, like, this is in college, but you were just like,
I remember.
You were like this. I was the opposite. I didn't do anything, and I was at this girl.
Created a monster with
I'm gonna say this girl's name.
Monster with the sun.
Ashley fucking Austin.
I remember it.
She has me over. And I'm folding her laundry in her bed. I'm laying in her bed, and I was just like, oh man, like I think she likes me. I don't know, blah blah. And you were like, Josh, if a girl asks you to her house and brings you into her bedroom and you're laying in her bed, she wants to get it. Like, and I was just like, no,
Especially
really? Like, it
if
just blew my mind. And I was like, oh, yeah. I guess I probably should have made a move because I just sat there and I didn't even kiss her. And I laid down on the bed.
I'm going to put a caveat on it. And I just had this recent experience.
Because you can't lay that ass up, but you get statement.
But so here's the
But that
caveat
was like
that I
my
will
first,
say.
yeah,
Now,
okay.
here's the caveat.
Everything
I
needs caveats, yeah.
just had this experience very recently. Where I legitimately was like, you know what? There's a person that I like. I'm into. I like him. We have good times. But in that moment, I was like, you know what? This is like my headspace is not in that. Just that's not where I wanted to go with the night. And I'm very comfortable with my own sexuality and like what I want and what I don't. And so I was very comfortable being like, hey, listen, this is what I'm offering. If what you want is to come, like, if you want to crash, you want to cuddle, I'm fine with that. I don't want anything further.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I was also very specific with that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm literally saying,
and a lot of
this is the boundary that I'm saying. I'm just saying, I actually, as opposed to going to bed alone, I would love to have you cuddling me and spooning me, and I would enjoy that. And like, we haven't spent a lot of time, and I would like that. However, I think there's still that mixed signal of if a girl's inviting you to bed, and it was
that's where you were being explicit, so that's helpful.
It was.
So that is helpful for girls to say that.
For sure. But that was a very hard boundary that the girl that you're talking about did not set.
Yeah.
She is putting you in all the situations.
I will say
where the problem becomes often is that like guys that don't read things are like I can't tell you how many situations that I've been where like a guy is next to me and I'm making every scenario to like make myself physically unavailable, like anatomically unavailable, and they still don't reach it, and they're just like.
So that is the
that's
problem.
The reason I mean, like,
is
that
very problematic.
I do think there's times where anybody can misread a situation, especially if there's alcohol or drug, for sure. But there are times where I am very clearly making it known. I have cross-body language. I am specifically putting distance. I'm not making eye contact, or I'm like doing like the shoulder thing. Like, there are very clear signals when someone does not want that.
As you know from our friend, he misinterpreted those signals. Oh, she was nervously laughing. She was like, and he interpreted it as, no, continue. Like,
there's a very different
that way.
And
right. So,
and it's very slight.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong at any stage. What I'm saying is there's so many people that do not know how to read people.
Because we're not taught that at all.
And so that's why this conversation is important for everyone. It's because it is so as a dude, you have to learn how to
talking to me about like him being like, I don't know how to teach Jackson like consent. And
he doesn't need to worry about it.
Why? Because guys don't need consent too?
Yeah. No. I don't know any guy that needs consent.
That's not
I know.
true.
I'm somewhat kidding. I don't know if I am, but dude, gay guys do not have consent. They're just like grab you in the bathroom. The amount of times I've been having get grabbed by a gay dude or whatever.
Well, I think the assumption is just towards men. It's not even gay, like guy to guy. It's just even girl to guy. I know for me, I'm again way more aggressive with guys. I don't even fucking second think myself if I literally want to grab someone's
because guys
dick.
don't
They don't mind. They like it.
And that's fair. Like that doesn't mean that you
doesn't mean that
it doesn't have to be equal.
Yeah.
Like, no, treat a fucking woman differently than you treat a dude. Like, I don't mind if I'm not gay, and if a guy grabs my dick, it doesn't bother me. But I know that almost
if a girl grabs your dick, it
girl,
bothers you a lot.
It bothers the hell out of me. But I know that all of my girlfriends, if some random dude grabs them by the pussy, they're like, traumatized.
Also, I think that's also the difference of like the idea of like the ability to protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
component, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
that
that is
ability
true.
of like that's the big
You
component.
don't
Like,
have the
guys
danger.
get really worked up about like, oh,
Yeah.
that guy's hitting on me. But like, actually, do you think that guy is capable
Yeah.
of raping you? And maybe he is, because that
One of
does
the things-
happen still. But like, girls actually have the genuine fear. This is why
Yeah.
we fawn so much.
Sure.
Is because
One of the things I want to ask you before I forget of this conversation is in the Aziz Ansari situation. Do you think it's possible that because he's famous, there is a level of girls claiming things that don't happen that happen?
So I have two thoughts.
And I know I kind of already know, but I would like to hear your perspective,
So two
especially
thoughts.
for
Two
people.
thoughts.
Hold on, let me just finish and then
Sorry,
I do know that I know that it's less likely than not that the guy is the offender.
Mhm.
But I do know in fame there are times when girls will just claim it. So that's why I wanted to ask your perspective on this. Like sometimes it is sometimes there is a girl who's just trying to claim the fucking shit. But I think that just me personally, and I have talked to a bunch of different people, that most times it's still the guy offender, but that doesn't mean it's always.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway.
So statistically, based off all statistics across the board, fame and unfame, less than 1% girls ever make shit up.
Who makes
the claims? This is no. It's not even believe women. It's believe victims. Because of what comes out of that. So statistically, say you're famous and she's not, and she makes the claim that you did this.
Yeah.
What it takes for her, like what it takes for you, it might damage your fame. But literally, for her to take it to court or her to get anything out of it, every person that she has ever fucked, had a relationship with, every every aspect of her sex life is going to get dragged into the bright lights.
Sure.
What that does, this is the part that I think a lot of people don't understand about, like when we say statistically less than 1% claim these things, is I don't think that you realize what someone goes through when they claim rape or when they claim whatever. So if it's immediately, you're going through like what I went through, where it was like a forensic detective that literally took aggressive photos of me in like a Y stirrup.
Yeah.
And like very, very aggressive, bright lighting.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of, say that.
How many hours did you have to spend talking to detectives as one second?
Josh came into that.
I was there.
Josh was there.
It was what, 8 hours?
No, longer than that.
With the forensic nurse.
No.
Yeah, that was new for me.
There was an entire voluntary position. The girl that drove me there and took me there, she was a volunteer. Her whole role was to like bring food because she knew I might be there so long that I wouldn't have food.
Sure.
And that like I didn't have, like, she was there for like, it was, I think we reported around like 11 or 12 was when we made the call. I didn't get home till like 2:00 in the morning the next day. And then it was 2 cops at the house that ended.
We missed a day of vacation.
They were great. They were really great. And I can't speak highly enough for those guys. They were really good. Sure. It was still intense for me.
Yeah.
I lost my bed sheets, the shirt that I was wearing, the clothes that I was wearing. I lost all of that. Like all these things that there was that. And they were really good. They were really great with you. They were really great with Paul. They were really great with Abby. They were fantastic. And then they brought in the volunteer, actually. That was the one that brought me to the location. And I spent hours and hours and hours, sometimes sitting in a room by myself, and sometimes being basically in like a medical room with very fluorescent lightings, and then
On the fact that even the first thing that you said, you spent hours in a room by yourself.
Yeah.
Completely isolated.
After you're traumatized.
The only good contact I had was from Josh and from Paul and from my friend.
I made her do it too, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
You didn't want to, and I pushed you into it.
Yeah.
I pushed you into it. I'm like, dude, we need
really
to fucking
didn't.
do something about this.
And even if they're interrogating you for on behalf of your your statement as providing a witness, you still spend the majority of that time, unless somehow you miraculously manifested a fucking lawyer or a counselor to sit beside you, you are alone.
And it was hard because I'm someone that like I blacked out because I have a lot of trauma and I don't have all the answers that someone asked me. So she was asking me questions that I was saying I don't remember. I can't tell you this is what I remember. And they grilled me like a lawyer would someone that is an offender. And she grilled and she grilled and she grilled and honestly I don't even like I can't even talk shit about her. I think she was just doing her job.
Yeah,
she was. I remember to the day what she was wearing and how she was and the way that she was. And I would lose it. And then she would sit there for a second and then say, okay, so back to what did you say? And what you and like just bringing me back into it over and over and over again.
And it was. You were probably more clear-headed and able to recall facts during your interrogation than you were when it actually happened, though.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. That was the problem. And then I went through all of that for hours. I literally got put in stirrups and had like the same camera that you use, like taking very intimate photos under fluorescent lighting and being grilled about every bruise and every mark and everything on my body and like my underwear and what I was wearing, and that being what was asked. What were you wearing? What did you say?
Yeah.
Were you drinking? How many drinks did you have? All of that to insinuate that it was my fault. And I knew that that's what I was getting into. My therapist actually prepared me for that. She said, they're going to insinuate that it was your fault.
Yeah.
And I mentally prepared for that. And I thought that I was there. And I went through hours of it and hours of it and hours of it, hours. And this is someone that had a prior history of pedophilia, had already been to prison for this, was not allowed to have a smartphone because the option of porn. This is like I like there shouldn't have been a case because this person was clearly a problem already. And after all of that, they told me there's not a case. We can't press charges against him.
And that's he
literally
the reason that they were being assholes to you and asking questions in a way that would further trigger your trauma and make you feel like absolute garbage for even say something is because that's what they're going to deal with the prosecution.
Yeah.
Trying to come out their
and they get
yeah.
I mean, like,
they're setting up.
Yeah.
Credit of most law enforcement in that situation, but at the same time, in no way does that help the victim.
No. There wasn't a second that I was asked for consent for the photos. There wasn't a second that I was asked for the consent for the cotton swabs and like the gynecology of it. And after I said he didn't me, and it was still getting that. It was still like re-traumatizing.
Re-traumatized.
Yeah.
So
and no consent was asked.
You're being raped by
So I get that argument.
It was really hard.
Oh.
It was really hard.
No shit. No girl wants to say shit.
To go through all of that and then to be told there's nothing we can do. Maybe there was a misnomer in what you said and and that guy fled the country. He literally after that because he got word because I think they still like tailed him. He literally fled the country, and no presses, no like nothing ever came of that. I still don't have my bed sheets or my shoes or my any of that. Like I don't have any of that. It's all still in.
Yeah.
You know, in.
Can I ask you a question? This is just as like with this. So to summarize, this is why girls don't speak up.
Yeah. This is why
you don't want to go that.
This is also why girls don't make it up.
Right, but you don't want to. Yeah, you would never go through that.
They asked about They asked who I had slept with in the past month.
Okay, so
they asked whose else's DNA they might find on me.
Yeah. So the question.
Girls are convinced that they made it up.
Yeah.
In interrogation.
So can I ask you a question? Is it different if it's a while ago? Like, so for example, because obviously that was recent because we went through that. But so like, say you're like a girl with Bill Cosby, right?
Yeah.
So do they process you different? You're like, actually 20 years ago, like, you know, when a girl speaks up finally because they didn't want to. Yeah, that's what I want to ask. So I'm like,
so I thought about this. I had a moment a couple years ago when I was working in California. One of my first offenders was a doctor when I was a teenager. He was a pulmonologist that is still practicing in Lewistown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he crossed my brain. I don't really remember what it was. And for some reason, I looked up to see if he was still practicing. And he was. And he was like, I remember telling mom and telling my school teacher
Yeah.
that like he did. I was there for like a lung issue. I was having like really bad breathing stuff. I don't know if you remember. I was having like a lot of bronchitis and stuff. And I was recommended to go to a pulmonologist, but I was 16.
Yeah.
So I could drive, so I could go to my own appointments. Mom didn't come with me. And he did an exam with me without anybody else present. He did a breast exam. I was 16 and he was like screening me for cancer.
Yeah.
And I was there for my lungs, not like
Yeah.
I didn't have like tumors.
Sure.
And he was doing that, and I remember him like feeling up my legs, and he was like commenting on like, oh, I had like a wart on my knee or something like that. And he was like, I remember him like being like, what's that? We can, like as he's like trailing up my leg. And I was so naive at the time. Like I didn't
Right.
know what was appropriate or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember like I knew enough that I was uncomfortable, and I told mom, I was like, he did like he like did a breast exam. That was like the first time anybody had ever touched my boobs.
Yeah.
I was very young, and
Yeah,
I was
you're
like,
like, why would
I was
you
like
touch
still
it?
very developing and stuff, and I was like telling her, I was like, he did like a breast exam, and I didn't understand if it was like necessary, and everything gets sconed off as like, oh, he's a doctor, it's
Yeah,
fine,
yeah.
it's like medical.
Yeah. He's so smart.
And I told mom that, and she called, and she was upset, and she was like, why was there not a nurse in there?
Yeah.
She's underage. Why was there not someone there? And the next time I went to see him, there was a nurse sitting in the room.
Right.
Of course, he didn't do anything then. He had already done
Right.
something.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my teacher at the time, and she said, like, I remember her saying, if you feel uncomfortable with this was not okay. But nobody ever progressed it further.
Right.
Nobody ever, like, nothing else was done.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Nothing was done. And so years, like a couple years ago, I kind of thought about that. And I think it was actually Nikki, maybe she talked to me about how she had a similar experience.
Yeah.
And I started wondering, like, how often is this happening, that like girls are having like guy doctors that are
Right.
getting away with shit because they think this is a medical exam, but it's not a
Yeah,
medical
yeah.
exam.
It happens too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and my
happened to me. Like
Yeah.
I'm literally listening to
you're getting
say
triggered
this.
probably. I can tell.
This happened to me.
Yeah.
From the time I was between like 11 and 14 years old.
Yeah.
I went to the same male pediatrician.
Yeah.
I have attention deficit disorder, and I remember the very first time a man touched my breast, and it was in front of my mother, and he made it seem like it was entirely for medical reasons, that we were scanning me for breast cancer
At 11 years old.
and
Jesus
he
Christ.
was trying to make eye contact with me.
It's a power thing.
entire time.
Power thing. It's a
Dude.
power thing.
I
It's power
recognized
right there.
something Was off.
Good for
and I
you for
looked at
regular.
him, And I fucking glared at him, and I looked away, and I was like, "This is not."
I mean,
right."
you guys
And
know
this is what I mean when I say that, like, I considered at that point in time, I've been doing therapy for a while, and I talked to my therapist about this, and I said, I looked him up, and I saw that he's still practicing. And how many other girls has he done this to now?
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I was like, I'm now a professional.
Yeah.
I know the bullshit
Right,
the
right, right.
medical license didn't grant him. And I thought about it. I really, really
So
thought
my
about
question
going
is-
back to it and progressing this. But what it would mean is that I now have to fly back how many times
Right.
for this processing?
So then it would still
Oh,
be a.
How many lawyers do
Yeah.
I have to hire? So how many years of drawn out shit? Like, we're talking about me being thousands in the hole,
Yeah.
and then just to get him to stop being able to practice.
Yeah.
Not to like me get any money out of him. I
Yeah.
don't fucking want that money. If I
And
fucking
what-
could,
Yeah.
but I don't
So
want
that's
anything
it.
from it.
If there's a nurse in the
Are you
room,
out?
or your mom
let's take a
in the
pee break.
room, there are other people that can set
Can we
and
take a pee
supervise
break?
that say, "This is fine."
Yeah.
Let's take a pee break.
Could you stop running into stuff with your big toe, though, please?
Everything's going. Okay.
Sorry. Good. So I don't know exactly where we left it off, and maybe that was our bad in not
John, will you
figuring
turn
out
this
exactly
actually?
where we left off.
There's a fridge. John. What's mine is yours. What's mine is yours. go to the fridge. Go to the fridge. Get a soda.
I don't know exactly where we left,
Yeah.
but I think the ultimate of like that so I contemplated going back and prosecuting this person.
Sure.
And I talked to my therapist about it, and I was like, I don't know if I should, I don't know if I shouldn't. I feel like I'm now finally like a strong enough person where I could fucking look him in the eye and say, absolutely fuck you.
Yeah.
And all this shit. And I still decided, like, you know what? Why do I need to relive this? And I know what they're gonna do. I know that if I would go on testimony, they would bring up literally everything bad about me.
Yeah.
Oh, you're divorced and how many sexual partners and all this stuff. They will smear me.
Oh, you're a slut.
Oh, what was your nursing degree? What was your GPA? All that stuff. And so I decided not to go into that one because I was honestly not in the space where I felt capable of handling it. But also the same thing of like that night that you got to see me go through that, and it wasn't fun, obviously.
It was fucking awful.
That is hands down, despite everything that I've ever had happen, that is one of the hands down worst nights of my life.
No.
That experience was more
I do apologize
traumatizing.
for pushing you into like.
No, I don't think that you did wrong. I don't think that you did wrong, and I'm proud of myself that I did.
When I saw it in that moment, I was like, dude, I fucked up. We shouldn't have done this. Because now we're just making her relive stuff way more, and we're not getting anything accomplished.
I will say that was the moment the moment that detective said, like, after everything, after I bared my soul and like I told her everything, and then for her to say like, we don't have a case right now, we can't press charges, that broke my heart more than I think I've ever had it broken.
So
and that was one of the hardest nights of my life. But this is what I mean when I say that that it's 1% of people that fake this. It's because that my experience is not unusual, and I didn't have the ER experience that some people do. I didn't have the like trying to extract stuff from inside of me experience that people do. I had a very mild experience, and I had a great support system. And I had great detectives, and I had great people that were doing their job in the kindest way that they could.
So what I'm at, okay.
There's a lot of worse things.
Hear me out
someone like that.
Hear me out here on these questions, because I actually, like, the more that you explain this, the more I feel strongly that it is probably about 99 to 1, right? Cinda has a good argument where there is a other side of things, and like I'm kind of trying to find like what, because obviously there is a few times it happens the opposite way, right?
Of course.
So hear me out on this. Like, so like what happens sometimes, and this is not like giving anyone because I don't know these people, but there'll be a guy who has a girl is just like, she chirps it in the community. She doesn't go to the cops. She doesn't go to the she isn't getting dragged through that situation. She just tells her friends in a circle, you know, say it's like a circle of 100 people, and she's like, dude, fucking Bernard, you know, pushed himself on me and blah blah blah, because she got upset that she got too drunk and whatever. And so that's what I'm wondering.
That alone, right? That is definition of consent is a sober person, right?
Right.
Actuality, legally in the U.S. anyways.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
It is. Drunk consent is not consent. And actually, and that's where I actually differ a little bit, because I'm like, I think sometimes like when you're drunk and you're just like, what's going on?
Okay, so hear me out. Like obviously, like I'm not trying to give credence to the other like side, although I'm just trying to like kind of parse how often is it like mostly like your situation versus mostly this.
Statistically, and this is a sad fact of like of how often it happens that it's like me.
Yeah.
How often that is, but it is statistically up to date. Statistically, less than 1%.
I don't know what statistically means.
No.
We're penalized socially if someone doesn't come forth on a legal level. There's still social ramifications.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
That makes sense.
But again, even if they don't come forth with any statistics, like any of that, like it's
so I don't. Well, first off, I don't know what you mean by statistically.
Statistically, of like the
like,
people that say the
this
people that
podcast
claim
isn't
rape.
gonna have like
Yeah, no. Scientifically,
notes,
statistically,
but,
that people like statistics that are people that are claiming, and the statistics
we might
are
need
going
to
off
do
of
it.
court proceeding. That's going off of court proceedings.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what's more measurable. Because it's statistics are measurable data.
That might be nice. So like when we were
Measurable
talking about
data.
shit, we
Measurable data.
might look up something like when we do a podcast, we'll chat GBT it, and then we'll be like, all right, here's actually the statistics that we're quoting, just so when people are listening to us, they're like, actually, it's not like here's what we're seeing.
Statistics are court proceeding. That's the data I believe that they're going off of with everything.
That's a really good idea.
But statistically, when people are progressing it and saying this person did this, statistically it's less than 1%. So there was a big thing about less than 20% are reported. Like she said. Here's the other thing. Just to interrupt, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt for one more second.
Here's the other thing.
I know I said it because you said it. There was a big thing when like the Me Too movement happened, where guys started getting in this thing like, oh, I'm scared to get in an elevator with the girls that I work with and all that. Again, girls weren't just like this is what's underestimated is what a girl goes through. Even though I know logically that I didn't do anything wrong, the shame that follows me for what was done to me is irreversible. And I have to do years of work to figure that out. On top of, with the Me Too movement and all of that, like people started being afraid of being in a room with a girl alone or being in all these all this bullshit. Those are people, like, if you were all of a sudden scared of like, oh, what if I just say hi to a girl? Now she says I raped her.
From Me Too, just within our acting military. This doesn't include all of us regular assholes.
Yeah.
3,577 reports in 2010 in the military.
And what came out of that is the real question.
Me Too, at least that statistic skewed to 19,000.
So that's like
in less than
what, 5 times? 5 times.
Difference of like what people finally felt comfortable.
Now we're like, oh shit, now we can say how it feels.
Because women feel comfortable.
It allowed them to say it.
They were more protected.
Listen to Lindsay's story.
Yeah. They were more protected to it.
Dude, listen to me too, because I'm gonna agree with you in this.
Yeah.
This is what's crazy. I'm a sexual deviant.
Yeah, of course.
Cinna knows I'm a sexual deviant.
Of course.
So what?
Someway.
You know what's crazy is I've had other dudes say, "Aren't you scared of choking a girl? Aren't you scared of
the people that are scared of that,
was
or
like,
the people that are doing something?"
I was like, bro, no, I've never had like one, and I'm not saying I have never crossed the line ever in my life.
Yeah, no.
But I'm like, dude, I've never dealt with that, like, because I listen to the fucking girl. Like I am still I'm a dominant male. I still do sexual deviant shit.
Yeah.
I choke girls. I blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I've had like guys be like, aren't you worried about like me? I'm like, I've never worried about it. I still don't. I'm like, dude, I'm not worried about it.
Josh,
because
how many women have been in your house today?
I think 5.
5.
Yeah,
right?
5 or 6. 5.
So.
Also, we brought a baby into this house.
Oh yeah, 6.
Right? But at least
the girl.
Always.
But the level of comfortability of who you are.
At least 1 in 4 women report instances
1 in 3
of
actually.
assault.
It used to be 1 in 3.
Yeah, and so here you have.
And every girl
one on camera.
also.
We have a second
This is the
camera.
statistic. This is the statistic that I first told Josh about by experience.
This statistic is skewed because we had 5.
Mm-hmm.
We have 1 on camera saying yes,
Yep.
it was me. We have a second.
I know you. And I know for a fact a couple of the other ones.
So many other examples that would also say yes, this is me. So if we ask,
there's skewed statistics.
Women here.
Yeah. I'm betting every one of them.
That every single one of them
I only
has
have like
dealt with this. So the statistic of 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 is actually closer to 1 in 100, but we don't say anything.
Yes.
Also, it's hard to define. So,
yes.
like, some of my friends, they didn't necessarily get raped or they didn't get molested, but they maybe had someone that was like a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
Or they had someone that was like manipulative.
Crazy?
Or like something of that nature. Or,
so what I'm saying is I'm speaking to the men that are listening.
Yeah.
None of the many girls that I've been with say that about me.
Yeah.
So what is the difference? Do you you need to be a man that creates safety.
It's
like
rare.
you create
it's,
like
it's
this.
even if there's a situation where you're not comfortable with.
I have 6 girls in this. I have 6 girls in this house, and they have all been raped. And I know for a fact that I've never raped anyone.
Yeah.
So what is the difference? Who are you going to be?
Yeah.
Well, I'm speaking more to I'm just speaking more to the men of who are you going to be? Are you going
it's really not that hard to not rape a girl.
Yeah.
It's really easy to not do that.
I will say this. So this is a way I look at I don't know if we talked about it, but there is a thing that has happened with evolution.
Yeah.
A lot of animals rape the other female. So as we dude, slavery used to be acceptable.
Yeah.
Now it's not. So we're shifting.
Yeah.
So this is a shift. Which is why I like this conversation. Yeah. And dude, it used to be okay 3,000 years ago to tackle a woman and rape her, and no one would give you shit, right? You conquered a nation, Genghis Khan, whatever. That was okay.
Yeah.
Now it's not. We as humans are evolving. So now let's talk about this is not okay anymore.
Yeah.
And so this conversation, not just ours.
Yeah.
All of them need to be okay, now it's our job to push this forward.
Yeah.
Dude, no,
Lindsay,
it's not okay.
What would, for our male listeners, what are signs for you that you would dictate as personally, obviously this does not speak for every woman, but what are some things that personally you might try to dictate as signs of consent?
I think it starts very basic. I think it starts very basic in signs of consent of whether it's conversation or whether it's something that I say I don't like that, or I don't like. Very, very similar. I think lack of consent is more than just one thing.
But
lack of put it specific. To physical. If it's so physical. Okay. So if I'm in a situation where we're on a one-on-one situation and you're feeling intimate with me, and if I'm feeling that way, my body language is going to show you that I am that way. And what that means, and this is basic physiologic psychology or relational psychology, is a body language. So body language, for example, right now. So currently, I'm pretty open in my body language.
Put right here. This is actually good. I like this.
Yeah.
So do you want to sit here? Or just pretend dude's here.
Yeah, so I'm currently, this is the way I was sitting towards you. My brother, who I feel very comfortable with.
Say the dude's here.
Yeah, so the dude's right here. And I am open in that body language. However, if I'm uncomfortable with the person that is sitting right here, first thing I'm going to do is this.
Okay.
I'm going to put a physical barrier, and I'm going to probably cross it. And then I'm probably also going to cross another thing. Okay. This is basic psychology 101 of I am contracted. I am in a very self-protective. I might be in a relaxed self-protective mode, but I am self-protective. I am not going to, I do sometimes my other way of doing is if we're talking and I might be yeah, I might do this where I'm still keeping
you're leaning away.
Physical
That's what
distance.
I always have.
So what I don't do is that if there is someone here that I am into, I am probably laced in their legs and I might be like this with the person that I'm connecting with, and I am open.
Yeah, moving her way towards you.
To this person, I'm open to that. If for even a fucking second you go to make a lean in and I pull back, That might be a fake pullback. I'm not even saying it wouldn't be. Maybe I'm just playing hard to get. However, that is a fucking warning sign that, hey, you know what? That wasn't a green light. I proceed carefully. You, at that point in time, better make sure that everything, whatever. If you have your hand on my legs, that's not molestation. However, if you're trying to put your fucking hands down my pants or grabbing me or holding me in a position that I cannot get out of, it doesn't matter. If I already gave you the precursor that I tried to lean back on, it doesn't matter because I might fawn. One of the flight freezes is freeze, fawn, fight, or
explain fawn too.
Fawn. So fawning means that I am terrified. I'm in fight or flight mode myself. Fawning means that I will pretend like I'm into it because in my head, what I'm thinking is that this is a person I feel unsafe with. They might rape and kill me. So my best chance of survival is to make them think I like it.
Sure.
To make them think I'm into it. To make them think that I'm saying yes so they don't fucking kill me.
Yeah.
That is what fawn is. Or that's freeze. Do nothing is freeze. So a lot of people say, well, they never said no.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. There's a lot of times when someone made moves on me and I never said no. It's because I physically was incapable of it. In fact, that last situation that we went, I literally froze and I locked up and I blacked out and I stopped. My memory just goes away. But it's a freeze. This is
good for people to know. It's a really good question.
It's a freeze thing, and
unanimous.
That doesn't mean consent. Not saying no does not mean consent.
The biggest thing for me is unanimous consent.
Yeah.
It involves express, where there's a little bit of fun and games into getting to know somebody and to being in a fun new situation with a new person.
Yeah.
But eventually, at some point, you have the ability to provide express consent.
Yeah.
If your partner does, that's great, and that's where we want to be.
If your thought is that if I do not monopolize on this moment, it may never happen again, that's not fucking consent. If that is the only moment in which a person will say yes, it's not consent.
Yeah.
That's you utilizing a situation in which someone is weak.
Okay.
And
let me ask you a question. So, so this is on this. I always joke about this with oh boy.
Yeah.
He's just like, I get off on consent, and I'm like, I get off on no consent, and this is like a joke. Okay, so how does a person, and I'm doing this more for a listener, like I feel like I feel very comfortable.
You know this because I've taught you a lot.
Yeah. But there is a level of dominance and submissive that like a girl being taken. Like we've all read 50 Shades of Grey. We don't read, but we've watched.
The very first occurrence.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So hear me out, and then like let me get your take on it. So like. Everyone's read 50 Shades. Everyone has read
all the
everyone
rapey
knows
shit, all the like intense.
Yeah,
things,
of course, and that exists. Like it does. Like with these fantasies. So how does a guy parse? Yeah, exactly. So especially somebody who's not good at reading the room, how does a guy parse? Trying to figure out. Oh, yeah, I want to be respectful, but I also want to be, I don't want to be the nice guy. I don't want to be the person that gets, like put onto the table being like, oh no, he's too nice. And he, like you date douchebags.
Yeah.
Why is my friends going for the douchebag that is terrible? And I'm trying to be over here being consentful. And now I'm not getting the girl. Like, so
I'll put 50 Shades of Grey. I don't think you actually read the whole book because.
No, of course I didn't. It was terrible.
Of course. Right. However,
I watched the movie.
I have read the book.
And that girl one of the things really hot.
So one of the things that I don't actually know if they show this in the movie, but what they do show it in the book is that they had an entire meeting about.
Yeah, they did contracts.
Contracts.
He did the contract.
Yes. saying yes and saying no, and
Yeah.
hard stops and soft stops and all of that stuff. All of that was part of it. Yeah, all of it was part of it. This is what we were talking about this earlier when I was talking about porning, and I was saying, one of the things that I need in porn is I need to see the consent, because otherwise I feel like someone's getting manipulated and someone's just getting like taken advantage of, and I'm not mentally comfortable with it to let go and enjoy it unless I know actually that consent happened.
You want to see the.
I want to make. I don't necessarily need to see that, but I need to know the verbal of it, and I need to know that this is like free parties.
Yeah,
and this is not just like some sort of rape shit that's happening. So there's that on top of like, even like, I will say with not like every douchebag that I've ever dated, but honest to God, like some of the douchebags I've dated, if it didn't happen before, there was at least a conversation of afterwards of like, hey, like, I just want to check in, like, were you good? Like, were you good? Not saying that's the right time. I'm not saying that those kind of things shouldn't have happened before. But what I will give them is there was still the opportunity of check-in and repair. Of like, hey, you know what, actually, I didn't, like, I thought you were a little good. There was that opportunity to have that conversation of that. Again, I'm not saying that's how it should be. But like,
most of the steps are prior to, however,
it's called aftercare. Aftercare is really important, especially when you want to get into BDSM stuff. Where if you like degradation, I can tell you all day long that you're a piece of shit and your dick is a shrimp and all that. And what's important is that
my shrimp is a dick.
Your shrimp is a dick. But afterwards, what's important is for me to, like, in the after cuddles and the aftercare, is to say, like,
do the opposite.
Like, I don't actually think you're a piece of shit. I don't actually think you're a slut.
That's what I'm leaning into. Like,
I did have it, but like, I actually value you as a human, and I don't think you're worthless, even though I said those in those moments. That's what's called aftercare, and that's what porn doesn't show a lot.
So what I learned in a lot of sexual contexts is like, you don't pull this off in the first meet.
No, absolutely not.
Like, whatever your kink is,
just like you bring, like, oh, I'm gonna pee on you the very first time I do. No,
you're
not gonna piss on me right off the bat.
You bring that
conversation. We're gonna talk about this.
Exactly. That's very smart.
Yeah, consent is communication, 100%. And I think that's the difference. I think people have this idea of like, well, it's just what I like. I don't give a shit. What I like is like to be taken care of. So let's give a shit about that, because that's a safety thing. You know, I don't know. There's a lot. I know it's a hard thing. It's not, consent's not easy, and like understanding
I don't like it.
Things is not. Cats. Actually, I do think you like it because you have cats. That was one of the best things of like people that don't like cats is because they don't like consent.
No, send this for this. You know what's crazy about this? Cats teach you consent, but cats don't have consent.
Oh yeah.
Russell never asked me. He just gets right up on me. I'm like, dude, you're a good lesson in consent.
He's the alpha.
Like, fuck you, man. He just like gets right up on me and like, dude, you didn't even ask. I'm still fucking sleeping, bro. And he just gets up on me and like all the time. God damn it.
Well, no, I do think that's a good way to learn it. Yeah, I think that's the way to learn it.
That's a wrap. Yeah, we can wrap it up.
The biggest thing that I've gathered from talking to both of you about this is consent matters with partnership. Consent matters with communication. Obviously, I'm talking to a brother and a sister. Like, you guys don't have any sort of dichotomy that is overlapping here. But the overlying message is you ask for communication on both sides.
Yeah.
And you find ways to integrate what you want with what your partner wants.
Yeah. And whether that partner is the partner for the night or not, like, it doesn't have to be a life partner. There still is like a level of communication, whether it's body communication, whether it's verbal communication, but like there should still be some communication, right?
We were talking about the guys that hit on you in the grocery store.
Yeah.
And like the ways that I would hit on a girl in a grocery store is basically non-existent because they don't get. Like,
you don't do it.
I told you, I was like, dude, I still haven't met a girl in a grocery store, even though that's a good spot to meet a girl at the grocery store. But then there's these other dudes that are just like, I'm ballsy as fuck, and I will say
I'll be
anything.
intrusive.
And yeah, and so there's like these like so when we're talking
still a
about
lack of consent.
society, there's so many people because I'm like I personally know that when I go up to a girl, I don't think that I'm gonna creep her out, and if I do, like maybe 10% of the time, but I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna like
Aggressively
follow
do it.
her to her car.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go up and walk up and be like, hey, like I noticed you were seeing this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for consent. I'm just trying to read the room, but I also still am trying to say hi.
Yeah.
So that is, I will say, for every dude, is we do want to go meet the cool girl. Like you're a cute, cool girl.
Yeah.
Of course, people are trying to meet you, but you can't just go fucking say, I jerked off to you last night. That is a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, actually, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. Because I was like, dude, don't do that. Don't ever tell any of your friends, hey, just so you know, I jerked off to you last night.
It's never gonna work.
No one cool does that.
That only works if you're a girl talking to a guy, and only if you're a hot girl
And
talking to
or
a
if
guy.
you're fucking your girlfriend and she's obsessed with
that,
you and you're like, I jerked
it's not
off.
like you're in a relationship.
But like, so that's happened. That's happened to obviously Cindy. That's happened to you. That's happened to people. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go. Just so you know, I jerked off to you last night. I just wanted you to know. Like now you're not my friend. What the fuck?
Josh, as someone who I respect so much as a human being, obviously Lindsay does also. We love you as a person, and you are a sexual human being, and I believe that you are well versed in the contexts of consent. What would be some of the things that you could tell our listeners to look for?
How to approach?
Even in a context of someone who likes to blur that line.
Yes. This is good.
How do you approach someone?
Okay, this is good. This is good. That's a good question.
That's a great question.
Have girlfriends. Not girlfriends that you want to fuck. Have actually friends that are girls and ask them. Because like you're not gonna know. Like you get like cohesive. Like the way that I am is because I have 3 sisters. I have Ivy, Emma, fucking Hannah.
Yeah. Nikki,
like people that I don't fuck, like they have people that give you perspective. That's one. Like you can't just be like you can't
and incel with no girlfriends and then thinking that you can roll off.
This is
big
helped me
lines.
having 3 sisters.
What I'm hearing you say is lone wolf incels probably
No, yeah.
are not well versed in consent.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
no,
if
sure
you're an
not.
incel, come talk to me and let's talk. Because I
How
don't
will
want you
you
to be
not
an
do
incel.
that?
I don't want you to be an incel.
Yeah.
Like let's figure out a
That's
way to get
society.
you out there. But like, if all you do is sit in like a subculture or be like, oh, you read a book. Like, dude, I've read books on picking up girls. I've read books on talking to girls. I've read books on relationship. But if all you do is trust Andrew Tate, you might
find yourself in jail.
and I'm not saying he's not valuable, like in any sort of situation, but like you have to like listen to a female perspective. Dude, there's 7 females in this room. The reason why I am somewhat versed in females is because I hang out with a lot of females.
And you create a safe space for female people to all conglomerate
So
here.
you have to listen.
This is a safe space.
So open your ears. Yeah. So anyway, but
listen. Literally, all you have to do is listen. All you have to do is listen to the stories that we all tell.
Yeah.
Of, like the that guys
but
do.
like I mean, obviously,
just don't do them.
Homeboy, like I say, he's like, I get off on consent. I'm like, I'm giving you shit because like, I know that like I'm a pretty aggressive person. Like I'm more dominant. I'm more like I push hard sometimes. I push a boundary sometimes. I'm also offensive in this podcast, like whatever. But I haven't been taken to any situation where people are like, this guy fucked up my world, because I do still keep my ears to the ground because I have like females around. Like so I guess that's, to answer your question, that's probably my number one thing that I would ever say. But other than that, if you are on the fence, if you have to decide, do I want to choke her or do I want to ask her if I can choke her? I would say, if you have that question, you should ask. If you
Default
don't
to
have that, default to the ask, right? Like, but I like, the thing that we said earlier, I don't know if I had it on camera, but like when I'm with a girl, I put my hand on her throat first. I'm like,
Yeah, you don't
here it
rip.
is. And then if she goes, she wants to
I
be
know.
choked.
Yeah.
If she goes, huh? She
Don't like
doesn't
it.
want to be choked. Don't like it. So you
Girls are
like
very
you
simple
kind
that
of
way. We
prime
do
those
give keys.
things.
We
Yeah.
do give cues.
The
We're
one
very
tricky
subtle.
one.
We are very
The
subtle.
tricky
We are
one
subtle
is
as
the
girls.
laugh that like we talked about
The
our
uncomfortable
friend.
laugh,
Yeah, the uncomfortable laugh versus the flirt laugh. Because it's like, no, stop it, is like, come on, or no, stop it.
Yeah.
There's two different things, and that is one that a lot of guys
very
can't
tricky.
read. And so you have to figure out how to read that.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how to teach that one, but yeah.
If you're not sure, just don't.
What did you say?
If you're not sure, just don't.
Yeah.
If you're not
lean into
100%
don't versus
confident,
do. Yeah.
don't.
For sure. Yeah.
Don't. And if you have a poor
There's a
track
question.
record of dating,
Yeah.
definitely don't.
Yeah.
That's the difference. If you're someone that people vouch for you, like you have that. You have the girls that will go to bat for you, that will say, I know he is a proponent for feminist ideas. He supports us.
Feminism.
What, pro women?
No, I don't like feminism.
Pro women?
Yeah, I like pro women.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you're that and you have the people that say,
Pro
no,
people.
like that's the person.
Pro people.
It's a big difference than if you don't have that.
Okay, we do need to wrap this up so we go camping. Do you want to promote your fucking Instagram?
Sure. Follow me on nomad_RN. Mostly you're not gonna find shit.
Dude,
but, you know what?
Imagine 10 years from now when you're like blown the fuck up for all the shit that you put out, and then we're like, fuck yeah, Nomad.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
I never
come at
actually
me.
did this shit. I'll be like, do you want to promote anything? Like, what the fuck? Also, Emma had my most listens
Yeah.
on the podcast
Yeah.
until you, and then till Kiara. Kiara blew
Kiara's
the
way hotter
fuck.
than all of us.
Yeah. Also, she's
Yeah.
cool as fuck.
Yeah, she's cute as hell.
And our podcast.
And she was
dope.
like, yeah, I actually really
I
love
was like,
you
God
guys' podcast.
damn,
I
Kiara,
really
look
like
at
you guys' podcast.
Yeah.
I also really love you guys' podcast. I thought it was really good.
Dude, I'm so stoked we're doing this again.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked you're helping me. I'm so stoked. I'm gonna tackle.
Hey, listen, we're all fucking nobodies. Nobody knows fucking consent. And now this time, maybe we taught you a little something about consent.
Dude, I'm excited.
Maybe they know a little bit more.
Listen, guys, thank you so much for listening. This has been great. I need to keep doing this, and I really want to thank you for helping it.
Yeah, we will.
Say it.
What did you learn from today, Josh?
I learned that I need to keep following my fucking passions because this is what I want.
This is a good conversation.
Oh, I wasn't listening. I'm so
Consent.
sorry. Were you guys talking about something? Love you. Give me hugs. Come here. Give me hugs. Give me hugs. Give me hugs. I'm so excited. Dude, we didn't black out this one, too.
That was impressive.
I know. We didn't even black out.
Nobody's.